Here's what happened. Okay, here's what happened. I got this sent immediately. So we have a Griffin. You have a Griffin post. I've been streaming for 5 hours, 40 minutes, 12 seconds, played 247 of actual gameplay. And this is very common. This is like the 1-to-1 ratio in high-elo, essentially. Like, this is what you're praying to get. Like, it's only worse, like it's really bad if you get less than 1-to-1. But, like, it's so bad that this is normalized. This is usually how it goes. Terrible for streamers. Like, that's why you notice all the stupid shit that we do. Like, we do the angle, I mean, we do the Mathler, people do Bondle, you do, like, Wordle, like, all of these, you know? Like, you do so much stuff. And then also there's, like, a bit of a danger, which I guess they're addressing here as well. I'll show you the tweet. When you play other games, like I play Slay the Spire or Balatro or something, you play in the queue time, sometimes some of these games don't have like the auto pop-up mechanic. For example, Slay the Spire doesn't. When you play Binding of Isaac, it doesn't pop up. You have to like see it on your OBS screen, alt tab, and accept the match, right? So this is one of the Riot guys. Product and strategy, like I'm guessing is like higher up with the strategy, because he always seems to be tackling these theoretical concepts, which is very important in terms of like designing the game. And one of the things that he's talking about, like real problem, and we're aware of it, okay? So they're currently looking into exact solutions, how to fix a lot of dead time. So one of them, like potential solutions to the part of the problem, interesting in how appealing not these are. So he's considering these, right? So he named 3 potential options that they're looking into. One of them would be the auto accept queue. This makes sense. I think they should enable like auto accept. Like you just enable it, means you're here, but you're clearly busy doing something. You know, whereas if you kind of soft queue, like you run to the bathroom, you just leave it without it. Or even that, like you can auto accept queue. It's fine because you incur all the penalties if you're there but you're not there. So it's all good, honestly. I think this should be a thing. I think there are already mods that do this. People are modding their game, but there should be a thing. Like if you like, for example, for me when I play like other games, I can enable this and boom, we're there, right? Okay, that's like the mildest thing to kind of speed up. This is a solid option. Solid option because very often, like you're gonna get a not click, which is gonna cancel the lobby, and it's very annoying when there's people waiting for 10-15 minutes and somebody declines or doesn't accept. It's very annoying. Okay. So there are 2 things else happening. Full kill dodging / much larger penalties for dodging to disincentivize. Absolutely correct. This is absurd that it took this long. This needs to happen. Again, we'll talk in details. And pre-config some amount of champ select plus reduced timing champion select. This is something I've been talking about for a while now. Champion select is too slow these days. It's too slow, and a lot of things can be automatized. A lot of things can be shortened and made faster. So we talked about this. So big, really excited this is being considered. This is like really big. The fact that Riot Games, we'll talk about all the fucking potential. Like, what if somebody trolls? Okay, we'll talk about it, guys. Chill. Fucking hell. Okay, it's like it's really big. The fact that Riot Games considering this, because this is something that went like as a ghost in the room. It wasn't really, it just wasn't mentioned at all. People didn't really talk about this, and it's very big. Like this has the potential to recover the game in like a very good degree. I'm happy they're talking about this. Okay, first, not like on the second one, not a huge thing. Nice to have, obviously. Okay, speeding up champions, like this is like and how to shorten this champions. Like this is something I talked about. A lot of people mention like, but what if? But we'll go through this now. Speeding up champion select can be done easily by implementing pre-bans. Okay, pre-bans. Keep that in mind. Because right now you're going to go into the champion select. You get the hovered like 10-second phase. Then you get the ban phase. Then you like wait for all the bans to go. You have animation. Then you get to the first pick, right? It's really sluggish. And the picks can also be a bit faster as well. But yeah, this is all like a lot of unnecessary stuff because 99% of the time the bans will be designed. Like when you queue up the game, like what do? Like, do you go in a game and be like, our comp is like very good into this, but it gets countered by disengage, such as Janna based on our hovers, then I'm gonna ban Janna because of all the picks we hovered. Like, almost nobody does that. You go in and emotionally ban because you hate a particular champion or the players base of that champion. You go in and say, I hate Zed players. I wish they would never touch this game again, and then boom, you ban Zed. That's usually what happens in most of the bans. You're basically just removing the champ that you don't like dealing with. And that's fair enough, right? But you can automatize that, essentially. You don't need to be wasting time for all of that. So pre-ban is a very, very interesting idea. It's a very, very interesting idea, but like obviously there are certain hiccups that we can talk about it. So the way I imagine it working is it would go something like this. You choose 2 bans before you queue up. It's like you're here, you're on this screen, right? You're on this screen, boom, select champ, and you queue up. That's it, okay? Select champ, queue up, you go in. Simple as that. Okay, now you're saying 2 bans per person. That means there's 20 bans. That's gonna be too much. 20 bans, you can even get away with. I don't even think it would be too much, but secondly, it's never 20 bans. Like, the odds of you getting 20 bans with this system is like astronomically low. It's never gonna happen. Usually you're gonna get 10 to 13 bans. 10 to 13 unique bans, because bans will cancel each other out because everybody's banning unique bans. So it's not like you're banning like 2 sets, you're banning 10 sets. Okay, so instead of like Pyke having 200% ban rate max, you can have Pyke with 1000% ban rate. Okay, you can be banned 10 times per game. Okay, that is also coincidentally a countermeasure for all ghosting and stream sniping in high elo. It will completely negate that. That's also one thing Riot's been struggling with how to find a fix for. It solves that, makes the champions like much faster. Okay, so there are potential problems with this approach, and you're saying, what if my teammate bans my own champ? Okay, and that's a reasonable concern. So now we can think about like, okay, what happens? Do we enable that? Should the teammate be able to ban your champ? Now you have 2 options, and here we go. I mentioned 2 options here. This can be done the soft way or a hard way. Soft way would be to avoid teammate hovers or bans. Like, you can design this in numerous ways. You have like 5 seconds to hover a champion you join in, boom, and that hover is immune to bans from your teammates. Or you can pre-pick a champ here that you intend to pick. That would be very useful for one-tricks who want ban protection. You click on your champ here when you pick up the 2 bans, because it's all pretty much the same system. It doesn't really put that much stress on the client, although that's a bit ambitious. But you go in, and then you just go in and play your champ, right? That's totally fine. You can get in your champ, or you can ban their champ. Either way, it should work. But banning your teammate's champ would be moving away from the one-trick favored system, okay? One-tricking would not be like the optimal strategy in that system. Where now, one-tricking is extremely well rewarded, especially if your champ is really good. So that would be somewhat punishing to one-tricks, which it's not going to matter in too many cases, but it's going to move it away from being like the best strategy, which also is fine. I think that's like one reasonable thing to consider. To let people to move away from one-trick system into a more main system, which is interesting. You know, you can have a main, but like also adjacent champs. Can be healthy for like the long term of the game. But again, this is something you do focus groups and test, or you'll run like one server and test it on one server, and based on the results, figure out which is better. I have also option. Okay, but what about the tactics of me choosing the ban based on the stuff? But that's like super rare, and I don't think it matters that much. I don't think people are that tactical in solo. And trust me, I play the highest elos on every fucking server. I don't think people are that tactical with the bans. It doesn't matter that much. And people would... You're saying it can harm people who go in and ask for bans, but not really, because now you have 2 bans. You don't necessarily need to ask for bans, you got 2 bans. Doesn't all this complicate the matchmaking? Does making queue time longer? No, it's actually way shorter. Okay, you're giving less time in the champion select, which means less time for people to dodge. So more odds of getting a game. And more like little hiccups where you can get dodge. It is kind of important, but like, look, I think solo queue shines in randomness. People pick their champs, people ban their champs. You wanted a chaotic random environment where the best players are going to adapt the best and win the game. I think that's what makes the elo, that's what makes the elo true. That's what makes the skill true. The ability to convert any given scenario into a win. I think this adds a little bit more like dynamicism in the game, like higher chance of getting your champ banned, which means you get to like change your strategies more often. It will not really kill the key aspect of the draft, which is like step by step. What enemies pick, what you pick, you know? Because the bans like are inherently emotional. I think we made that argument. I think it's fairly correct. I think bans are almost always emotional, and they're just like a minor thing that adds roguelike element to League of Legends, because it just changes draft to draft based on the bans, and you almost always like ban the same stuff, and obviously you get this like side benefit of punishing ghosters. Well, if I'm pre-banning Aurelia because I plan to play a champ she counters, but I see the worst comp in my team, or I'm not gonna play. I mean, that is kind of ban wasted. When you swap the role, ban is wasted. I swap roles like every 3-4 lobbies with my teammates, and my ban tends to go wasted. It doesn't really matter, because again, you create a bit more dynamicism in the game. You get to see champs that you wouldn't see usually. Because I ban for my mid lane and I swap into bot lane or AP carry. You can make the same argument about that. That's also getting punished. But yeah, I don't think that's a big deal at all. I think the price you pay is negligible for the benefits you get. I think the benefits easily outweigh the downsides here. And the third thing is like the biggest thing that I mentioned. Full kill dodging / much larger penalties. I think this is incredible. Either way which they approach, I think this is much more likely, because Riot is too afraid to do this one. Because dodging has been a mechanic since forever, and it shouldn't have been. But yeah, it's insane to me that dodging has been left as a mechanic, which is true. Like, this is... By the way, dodging is just an artifact of the client. This is not something that's designed to be a thing. Okay? People just found out that you can terminate lobbies, and then Riot Games was like, okay, what if people terminate lobbies? Let's kill 3 LP for them. And if you know anything about League of Legends, then you can instantly figure out that, okay, if you punish 3 LP, or now it's 5 LP, but it's also, the 5 LP is not an increase, it's just a match for inflation, because the gains used to be lower, and now the gains are higher. So 3 to 5 is basically match inflation. So it's basically same. Okay? So when you think about that, let's see, like, if you're playing for 20, or if your MR is higher, you have 25, or even 30 LP per win, okay? Which is usually what happens to Smurfers, and Smurfers are higher. Elo and Smurfers also understand what is a better dodge, okay? So what happens then? If your LP gains are 30, you have to pay only 5, okay? You have to pay only 1/6. You pay only 1/6 of a game to terminate a game, okay? So if you see your lobby is pretty bad, and enemies have like a 62% chance to win based on the draft, it's perfectly valid for you to dodge that game. Because you want to min-max the climb, and that is absolutely fucking stupid. That should not be a thing. That should not be a thing. Solo queue is randomness. People should play, like when you talk about the tactics of the draft, the tactics of the draft shouldn't be undermined by people simply just leaving. Okay? That is the biggest problem. Currently, draft is as it is. You should go through it and then play whatever you get. So dodging should be punished much harder. Okay, now we can make it like 15 LP or 20 or 25 LP. Either way, essentially kills all tactical dodging, because you just need to get to the point where the numbers don't matter, where the numbers don't make sense for the people min-maxing, right? This has been extremely punishing to the game culture. Okay, Q times, game health, Q times, and the general game culture is a very important thing that I'm going to show you. Dodges carry is nothing but downsides. The long term is baffling to Riot, so long to consider removing it. And for the people saying, what if there's a troll in the lobby, so I must? Yeah, there's like somebody mentioned this, like, well, I was literally yapping, so we have to go over it. Okay? What if there's a troll in the lobby, so I must? This is classic. This is absolutely fucking classic. And it just makes no sense, because 99% of the time, the troll is not out to get you. He doesn't know who the fuck you are. He's not there to troll you. 99% of the time, they are baiting you to dodge for them because they don't like the draft. Okay? You pick his champ, or something happens, or his champ is banned, or he doesn't like the draft, and he hovers Nunu, picks the stupid fucking summoners, and he's just baiting you fuckers. It's a game of chicken, and he's baiting you. And by dodging, not only do you give in, you make him win, but you also reinforce the behavior, because he will do that again. You didn't push the problem down the line, you made the problem grow, you watered it. You gave him the power to do that more and more and more, because you're teaching him to do that. And now we just create more dodging, okay? By you dodging somebody, you create more dodging. And you know what happens? They don't even get punished. Because he won, okay? He got out of the lobby. He never got the report because he didn't go into the game. If he was intended to troll, he would get reported. And maybe 1 out of 100 of those people would get punished and actually lose a game because he would troll them, but then that person would have a high likelihood of getting banned, or even higher likelihood in the future, because the system doesn't get to learn on these people because they don't go through, because you guys dodge. So dodging is just absolutely ridiculous, and it erodes the game culture completely. Wait, let me see. Is there like, there was like a comment that like, although unfortunate and inconvenient, I think dodging is a fundamental part of the game. No, it's not. It shouldn't have been. Accidentally it is, but it shouldn't be. Those of us who are only able to interested in intent to climb with specific champ, specific role shouldn't be punished for daring to dodge. Okay, like how about we make this argument like in reverse? 9 other players who queued up to play the game perfectly fair shouldn't be punished by you for failing to draft correctly or not liking the draft on a fucking whim. Okay? It's not your game. This is not your playground. It should be fucking fair. It's not available and competitive. It should not be available here. The Drew is being super, like, polite here, but, like, this is a fucking moronic take. And, this is a moronic take. It's interesting to hear. It's not interesting. It's just moronic. But, yeah, it's just the moronic ramblings of an entitled person. It's not a good point. Eroding of the game culture is absolutely real. And now Oopie is a little bit goofy, you know, because Oopie is a normal person with a functioning brain. What if enemy team trolls me by out drafting my team? Am I actually going to have to play the game out normally? This is exactly what is happening. Me when I have to play the game I queued up for. Yep. Classic. Dodging is absolutely fucking stupid. I think they should remove ally bans when you pre-pick. That could be a thing. Like, that could be a thing. You can easily design that. Like, that's something for them to figure out and test out. I don't have the money or the resources, nor the will, nor the incentive to do so. I'm not going to run their focus group testing for them. That's something, when they solve the problem, they have to test out whether, like, it would be better in the long term to let hardcore banning go through, which means you can ban your allies, or go soft banning, which means your allies get a grace on the champion hover that they hovered. That would be, like, an easier one to kind of move into and, like, get people to go into. Also, one thing that wasn't mentioned here, which I'm really sad Drew didn't mention, because this is they're trying to solve the high queue times and queue time ratio towards gameplay. One thing they didn't mention to this is the fact that nobody plays Challenger. Nobody plays high-elo. High-elo queue times are extremely long because nobody plays it, because nobody wants to play it. There's no incentive to play it. Okay? You need to incentivize climbing in high elo. You need to give something to people who are really, really high elo. Okay? My guess is that only you need like 10 rewards and you're winning. Like, it's a massive win. So if you put that people who are top 10 will get a physical prize, they will get like a letter from Riot Games saying that congratulations, Summoner, you were top of the region at the end of that season, right? You don't even have to do it for like only once per year to the best top 10 players, top 20, top 50, doesn't matter. Challengers. You can send me a digital fucking letter. It would work. One of the best things they've ever done is like Backpack and the Challenger Jakovic event from 2016 to 19. And then they stopped. You need reward for high elo players so that they can play high elo, because okay, no incentive to climb high elo. No, that doesn't matter. Like, I don't, like, you know what I do? I get Challenger for a moment, and it's not worth for me to be Challenger. Because I'm making content, I'm trying to have fun, I'm goofing off with different builds. It's not really worth for me to maintain that Challenger, play one game per day for extremely long queue times to get absolutely fucking nothing. I like having the screen because it's kind of like a point of credibility. You go to Korea, you get the point of credibility, you get the screen, and that's about it, and you move on. Generally, it doesn't matter. Champions Queue is different. Champion Queue is different entirely. It's completely different because Champion Queue like mainly had people who were in competitive leagues. That's not the same. All the in-houses and third-party ran environments obviously are poorly ran, and like people just don't want to play them because they're not official. They give you nothing. So yeah, that's also a problem. If it's official and just give prizes, guess what? Like, a lot of streamers are not gonna smurf when they're 500 climb for that season, like unranked the challenger for the 500th time with the exact same champion, exact same rule or whatever, you know? Like, this time I'm getting a 70% win rate. Now I'm getting a 75% win rate, you know? People won't be doing that. People will look the fuck in, grinding to get high rank. Which means even lesser queue times, which means more games played, which means more people play. It's a feedback loop that also goes in the opposite direction. No prize, no incentive to play, people don't play. High queue times, people want to play even less because of high queue times, and then like it completely like just feeds into that. So you really need to full kill dodging. You can quicken the champion select with this, fix ghosting and a lot of other problems. Auto accept queue is good. You get so much faster queue times. You give prizes to the top of the ladder, even if it's just symbolic in a way of a letter that gives you like recognition. People will fight for that shit. People will love that shit. And I know I'm people. And yeah, like that will fix the queue times. Like that would lower the queue times like by 50%, by 100%, like, or by 50%, like. Okay, so how do you kill the dodging? Let's talk about like couple of ways of killing dodging. Now, the first thing people are thinking about, like, okay, but what if the client is shitty, which is obviously true? What if my power goes out? What if my PC goes out? Now, I think, let me see, dodge low tracker, dodge tracker. I'm a person who never dodges, and yet, if you look at here, I have dodged the game in my history, okay? And I lost 5 LP. Okay? I have never dodged in my life in League of Legends. Yet, if you look at it here, you're gonna find dodges. Okay? This is what happens. You're gonna find dodges. Okay? If you look at this, I play a lot. I stream a lot. This is my job. And you're gonna find some dodges on all-time period. Okay? You're gonna find, like, what is this? Like, 9 dodges in the last 2 years or so. Okay? So you know I've dodged. You know I've dodged. And everyone's got these. So how do you stop this? How do you stop the problems with the client, the power outage, the connection outage? I live in Bosnia. I know problems more than anyone, okay? The first time I hit Diamond 1 in like pre-season 3, I was playing on like 20 fucking FPS. My PC would overheat, my connection would go out because I had like 0.02 upload, okay? I was like, everything was burning. And I was still going high-elo, and I was still like I would get dodges. It happens. So how do you resolve this? I proposed one solution, which would be something like, this is an arbitrary number X of free dodges you get. Okay? So what does that mean? Is, for example, for 5 dodges per year, you can get out of the game scot-free. You don't lose LP, you don't lose MMR, nothing. You get a tiny timeout, 5-10 minutes, and then you get to play again. Okay? Simple as that. About 10 minutes, like refund tokens, precisely. Every account has refund tokens, precisely. You go in a game, you get a couple of these per year, and maybe they replenish per games played, because the more games played means you're on your PC a lot, which means higher chance of a power outage or something like that. So, how do you find the number X? You find the number X. Don't tell him that. They can sell him for RP. Don't tell him that. That would be literal pay to win. Don't say that to Riot. They will implement that shit. Fuck. So how do you find the number X? Number X is found in between the median and the average number of dodges somewhere. Now I need access to the Riot Games database. You can easily do a bit of data mining and figure out exactly where the number X is, because there's a lot of people. Dodging is a super chronic problem. Couple of percent people that dodge, they account for like 90% of the dodges. It follows like the Pareto principle very efficiently. So you need to figure out that these dodge abusers, they dodge like 50, 100, 12, 30, 150. There's a person with like 300 dodges. Like, these are the people who abuse chronically dodging. So it obviously has to be below that. But then you find a median user who has like 3-4 dodges per year, and then you just make it about that. So if you have 3-4 dodges per year on a median user, you make it 4, you make it 5 dodges free per year, and that's it. You fix the problem. You absolutely fix the problem. That's it. Like, you solved it. Simple. Just don't sell it for RP. Don't sell it for RP. So yeah, is that it? Is that it? Did we solve all of it? Did we solve all the problems? Did we tackle everything? Any other ideas? I think we did it.